Kaboom!
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the AIB Show. This is Amit.
And Dominic.
So Amit's coming to you from a different location, which is why my sound may be a little worse than normal. But we'll make the best of it. Actually, this week has been a busy week by way of news, with a lot of things going on. So I will defer to Dominic, and Dominic actually did some research for once as well. So he did some homework, put some stuff together. So what do you got, Dominic? Let's start with you.
I don't know. Yeah, I said that.
What? You did some research, or did it start with you?
No. They're both actually.
All right. You want me to start?
Let's start with you. What do you want to start with?
Your boy Deion.
Bro, look at my note sheet. That's what I was going to start with.
Your note sheet. It's a white piece of paper. I can't see your note sheet.
That's literally what I was about to start with. So
it's your boy Deion.
Deion Sanders, my favorite athlete of all time. NFL Hall of Famer.
Better, but continue.
You what?
I said reads better, but continue.
Yeah. My NFL Hall of Famer, also had a solid major league career, also played in the World Series and an NFL game within 24 hours of each other. Superstar athlete. He has been the coach of Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi, and HBCU for the last few years, and turned them into a dominant football program in the SWAC, Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Yeah, borderline powerhouse.
Yeah, they
12-0 this year.
They got 12-0 this year. Their first undefeated season. Last year, they got the #1 football recruit in the country to sign there, where HBCUs for football and sports in general have just kind of been a doormat. You know, I actually learned that there's been this pushback from the HBCUs themselves, not just from lack of funding, but also whatever funding they have, they did not give towards athletics because they wanted to break the stereotype of the Black athlete. They wanted to show that athletics aren't important. We are well-rounded individuals and focus on the arts and science and STEM and whatever else, right? They're just not academics, but to the detriment of academics. And like to the detriment of sports. And like we've always talked about, knowing full well what happened at UM, sports can be a conduit to much greater things for a school if done right. And we've seen this with Jackson State. They got sponsorship. They got new locker rooms. They got new football fields. They got notoriety for the school. All positive news that Deion brought to HBCUs. And he always was up front. And for anyone listening, we've said this acronym probably 10 times. Historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs. He always said if that bag came, he would leave. For the money, he would leave. His salary was about $300,000 a year. Which is nothing for a college coach, right? He was offered a job at the University of Colorado, which has been for almost 2 decades a horrible football program. They've had 1 winning season in the last 17 years.
Kind of like Miami.
No, I actually joked in the text. They actually make Miami look dominant. Anyway,
it's true.
He got a 5-year deal worth almost, or a 6-year deal worth almost $30 million. It's called $5 million a year. So he took the money, and it's polarizing his decision, and polarizing not just in general within the Black community, and it's more so positive. And those that are mad aren't seemingly mad. It's more so disappointing, and that's where I don't even know if I say I'm disappointed. I just wish in an ideal world in vacuum. But I get it. $30 million. And who knows what he's doing with that money? He could be using that to uplift communities. But let's say he's not. It's still $30 million versus $1.5 million. What are you doing? I know what you're doing.
I can't
knock the decision. No, I can't judge what someone, because what the net result is still positive. He did no harm in this. He came in there and did what no one has ever done in bringing awareness to the issues, to the masses. Of course, those in the schools, in the community of HBCUs knew the issues going on. He made it more aware to more people. He also helped improve some of those communities, right? And he did, and he was always upfront. That's the thing. He was transparent. He always said, for the money, he would leave.
But there's two for here.
It's not as if he sold a dream.
No, but that was just it. So everything that I'm hearing is that there was a dream that was sold about building Black communities and doing whatever else and all that kind of stuff, which, had a timetable.
From day one, he said, "I would leave."
I'm with
Even
you.
9 months ago, in 60 Minutes, they asked him,
but,
"Would you?"
Yeah, would you leave for the money? I remember.
Yeah.
But those things are contradictory.
No.
Right, amongst the people who are upset by this decision and just I'm not. Is contradictory because you cannot upbuild the community. Huh?
You cannot what? What was that?
Build?
Verb?
I said upbuild. It makes no sense. You can't build a community or things of that nature when you leave at the first situation, right? Like once things are going right, you leave. Crap, my internet's horrible. Sorry.
Metric of building it. He left after 3 years. Is it 5? Is it 8?
No, again, you're asking the wrong person.
No. I'm not asking you. I'm kind of throwing it out there. Like, yeah,
that's the problem. There is no timeline. Nobody. We say all. Ain't nobody really.
Supreme Court
nobody's
thing
going to be happy.
The other day. How do we determine when the oh my God, my mind's a blank. For schools, letting people in, letting minorities in schools.
Affirmative action.
Affirmative action. When do we know things are normal, when they're fair?
Hold up. What did you say? I said affirmative action. You said something else.
Equity something.
My God. I literally say the phrase and you repeat something completely different. But yeah, no. Again, people aren't going to be happy. Period. Not everybody's going to be happy across the board. And that's why you can't care about what everybody thinks. And Deion's doing Deion. But only that. But he's bringing his coaches. He's bringing a bunch of the players. He's doing whatever's there, and you can claim this utopian world if you want Deion to stay and build, right, the community and whatever else. All right, man. But if you're all high and mighty about this, you do it. Like whoever the you is, you know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I was saying. I was saying for those upset, how much time or money have they ever put into?
That's what I'm saying. This dude moved to Jackson to live in this community,
Jackson, Mississippi.
You know what I'm saying? To live in this community, do whatever else, and you
life of luxury. Man, like making how many people have $10, $50, $1,000, anything to these universities have done their time to help, right? But we're knocking him because he has a bigger platform and can make a bigger impact.
That's the other thing too.
That is not fair to put a burden on somebody.
But the other part of it too is you're like, well, Deion also skipped the line and did whatever else and blah, blah, blah. Right? Skip the line meaning there's a general thought process of you got to go through a fair amount of years of coaching and learning and assistant, whatever else, and move up the track. And Deion didn't want to do that because he's Deion. So he was like, all right, F it. I'm gonna go to the HBCU dynamic. I'm gonna build that up and show you guys that I can do what I say I can do. And then you guys gonna want me, throw a bag of money my way, and depending on the size of the bag of money, I'm gonna come with. Right? So he did it his own way. And people were like, well, we cut the line or whatever else, right? And if it was John Doe, he wouldn't have the opportunity. Obviously. Thank you. That's just the way the world works. That's like one of the dumbest arguments in the world. Sure. So if I'm Amit and I walk up to the Oscars, I can't get in. Well, why should they? Because I'm Amit and they are actors or stars or whatever. This is just the way the game works. What kind of dumbass argument is that? That's the stuff that bothers me. Just because he's Deion, he can? Yes. You be the best at your sport or whatever you do, literally the best in the world, then maybe you can do that. In the interim, stop bagging on somebody who just is the best. And if you are the best at what you do, you get to do extra. Be better.
Remember that that reference of walking up to the Oscars, because I got a story, but I want to stick with this. Just remember that. Make sure I talk about it. Yes, so there was a comment I saw from some person. I don't even know who they were, but it started going viral, semi-viral, I guess, and that this choosing a doormat like Colorado, because again, they've been a doormat, right, for football. sends a message that running a lousy program at a PWI. I just learned what that was recently. Predominantly white institution. PWI. Running a lousy program at a PWI is a better option than leading the best black one. To which I say, no, that's not what this message says. This message says that getting 30 million is a better option than getting 1.5 million.
Well, not only that, but he's also taking people with, man. You know what I'm saying? He's taking people with. He's taking his coaches with. They're going to get paid more. He's taking his students with. They're going to get more. Everybody, he's taking people with. Not just Deion doing Deion. He's taking people with. Right? So
yeah, but they're going to say to the detriment of the right. But
to the detriment of whom? That school is now. The school now has a better football. Crap, we're frozen again. Okay, good. That school now has a better facilities, a better practice field, better whatever, and maybe the next person like Deion of Deion's elk who wants to coach will go there as well and build up and continue to build. Maybe not there to another HBCU or to another college of that situation when they know that they're as good as him. Right? There's a bunch of this stuff. It's just the way the game works, man. But not only the way the game works, it's the way society is built, the way society has been built, and you can live in your utopian world, but if somebody's really good at what they do and they prove it to you, they should be able to continue doing what they want to do, right? And you can't be up in arms because you can't do what they can do. Like that, there's no the value prop there doesn't make any. It bothers me. It doesn't make any sense. All right, let's move on from Deion. I went first. What you got? Not prepared at all, Doug.
No, prepared. Do you remember Deion had a song, an album actually?
Yeah, I remember seeing the video.
His
for like
hit
2
song.
seconds.
Do you remember what his hit song was? Hit.
I don't remember the title.
Quotes.
Yeah,
remember? It was this.
Yeah. Where's his rap?
I mean, he told you about it decades ago, right?
It's that. That's solid production, by the way, by our team here.
Yeah, an intern or something. I think I said intern with an E.
You're an idiot.
Next, all right, so the story is years ago we went to the Hard Rock, Amit and I randomly, hotel, Hollywood, Florida. I don't remember why. This is probably like 2004, 5, something like that. Anyway, this is when they had all the clubs on the outside. I don't know if you remember, we were going like bar hopping. They went to this one club and we couldn't get in. Mm-hmm. And we still had that fledgling t-shirt company with which I wouldn't put my name on my phone number on my own card, even though I wanted to meet girls, but I still would give them Amit's. Anybody, I just didn't want to network. So I gave them Amit's number on my business card. Anyway, we're in line for the club. We can't get in. Do you remember this?
I don't actually. Continue.
You had this idea of, hold on.
Now he's talking to his wife or something.
She's making delightful smoothies, but the noise. Eat better.
Okay, continue.
Anyway, we're in line and you decide to use that business card because it didn't say like t-shirt company. It's called the Me Project. Mm-hmm. It was ambiguous and vague. And
it was also in a time when they had business cards.
Yeah.
We continue.
When people ask you people still ask you, they still ask me. I'm like, nah.
I'm an adult, bro. There's no business card. 2023. If somebody has a business card, we don't want to do business together. It's just like, all right, we're playing the different games here, son.
You walk up to the bouncers there and say, listen, where's your VIP section? And they point to the VIP. So we walk over there and he said, listen, you hand them the card. I represent a very, I don't think he said high net worth, a very important celebrity that's thinking of coming here soon. And you really don't remember this? You go,
no.
I need to understand the process of your VIP section and how you go through. And the guy looked at you and you said, I need to go through going inside, how we're walking, going into the VIP. You have no recollection of this?
No, bro. How drunk was I?
Yeah, well, trust me. And it friggin' worked. We got into VIP, walking in. Mind you, the place was empty, right? But there still was a line to get in one, and we circumvented the process. And it was the typical. It was as puff as one could be, and it actually worked in this instance.
Then you're welcome again. Again, Amit has done benefit to Dominic's life, not vice versa though. But one way, this is a one-sided friendship over here. But all right,
Yeah,
damn, that's pretty solid. I need to use that again. I have not done that forever. Well,
yeah,
apparently, I didn't even remember doing the first time.
yeah.
All right, continue. Next stuff.
I wonder if you're going to talk about this. If we're
Let's
on the
find out.
same mind frame, finally, after 2 years of doing this show, maybe we'll start thinking the same. California, we there or
I
no?
was not thinking about California. No, I'm in California right now. What in California?
Reparations. You seen that?
I figured you're gonna. I thought you were gonna go there. Yeah, actually, no, I didn't think you were gonna go there. But continue.
So Governor Newsom created a task force
Mhm.
following George Floyd in 2020 to determine potential reparations for Black Californians. To
Mhm.
which the preliminary analysis is that Black Californians deserve $223,000 each.
Okay.
And by Black Californians, it's those who can prove lineage to an ancestor who was either free or enslaved prior to 1900. Right?
Okay.
And this was based on several reasons. It's my dog
I
speaking.
figured. I was hoping it wasn't you.
You know, you just look at the Black households now, median worth 24,100, with the white household is 188,200. You look at Blacks experience discrimination in housing throughout the years. Several communities have been destroyed. Happened here in Miami too. Bulldozed for infrastructure reasons based on eminent domain, where the government can take your property and supposed to pay you a fair value. But with these Black families, what they did was undervalued them, paid them less than what they bought them for. And highways came through and destroyed communities. Liberty City here in Miami is a notorious one where that happened. It was a thriving Black community of entrepreneurship and just financial boom, and it destroyed them, and it became in the 80s and 90s, like high crime area during this. So they used 5 factors to determine this figure. Those 5 factors were based upon housing discrimination, which we just talked about, mass incarceration. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about that on the show. Unjust property seizures, which eminent domain, devaluation of Black businesses, and healthcare. So this is just a recommendation. It's preliminary stages. They have till March to submit the formal report to Newsom, and then Newsom analyzes it and sees what he thinks and what can potentially be done. Now, there's the irony that there will be white people who can technically qualify, because if they had an ancestor and they can prove they had an ancestor, let's say a great grandmother who was raped by their white slave holding ancestor, technically they could qualify for this, even though they identify as white now, which is a sham. But there'll be a handful of those. It'll be interesting. I wonder if anything does happen. I don't know what power Newsom has to okay, let's say they come out through and say, yes, it's right now it's 569 billion. Let's just say it's 500 billion, right? They knock it down some. Does Newsom have the power to do anything like that?
I don't know. I don't know if he can, honestly. One is the cost, plain and simple, right? Because
where does the money come from?
That's my point, right? California already has very, very high tax rate. California had a pseudo exodus of people, of businesses, I should say. Of businesses during COVID. Businesses moving to Texas and other places which have lower corporate tax rates and so on. Tesla being one of the majors, obviously, but a lot of people that I know have moved their business out of California to different places like that. Film and TV is kind of locked in here to a variety of reasons, but they're producing more and more outside, even though their main infrastructure is set up here. So there's a lot of things that California has, and they have there's a lot of industry, a lot of stuff going on, but the tax rate is very high. So if you throw this out there as well, I don't know how much positive. I mean, it's going to be socially positive, but I don't know if you're fiscally conservative or fiscally concerned about the nature of California taxes. I don't know how you're going to appreciate this one or the other. So this is going to be interesting, right? Because even the people who will quote unquote receive the funds will, I mean, the only way to pay for it is some sort of taxation on something, right? So do they get higher taxes on something else? Like, does it come back to bite you in the butt? Like, I don't know how this works, right? So I'm curious. Like, this would be an interesting experiment, to say the least. So yeah, let's see how that plays out.
Huh. What else you got?
So all right, so there's this the Supreme Court's hearing a case. The woman in Colorado, she does not want to create websites for LGBTQ families, or not families, couples, anybody, right? Because it goes against her beliefs. So now, mind you, nobody's asked her to create a website, by the way. This is preemptive.
Wait, my bad. Say that again.
She does not want to create websites for
Hold on. Who?
this woman in Colorado. I don't know.
I didn't hear what you said. I didn't
Oh my
see
God, you're not listening to me?
I was
We're
looking
not
at
talking
the show
to each
notes.
other. There'll be ain't nobody else listening or watching. It's me and you, fool. This guy.
Say it
Do you
again.
not know the story, first of all?
I think so, because it was similar to the cake story, right? I feel like I heard
Correct.
it.
The difference is
Yeah.
somebody asked them to make the cake. Ain't nobody asked this lady to make them a website yet.
All right.
This
So
is preemptive.
So
This lady
yes,
makes websites for couples getting married
it'd
and
be
all that
nice
kind
if
of
you did
stuff.
a research and could give me the woman name or something.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like, that would help out your cause. Were you not listening anyway? Right? Her name is Jill Anderson. So Jill
Mr. Anderson.
makes websites. Pardon me?
Mr. Anderson. You
Yeah,
get the
I'm moving
reference?
on. Yes, you're an idiot. Anyway, so she makes websites, and she doesn't want to make websites for LGBTQ anything affiliated with LGBTQ couples, et cetera, right? Families, whatever. And her thing is that she creates art and therefore is not bound by the traditional general ruling of everybody must be served kind of dynamic. And so it's escalated. Now it's at the Supreme Court, and I find it.
But how is there a case if nobody?
No, she's saying so. There's nobody. She's in essence coming out just against the law in general, just going against the current law that says she has got to serve everybody across the board equally. The interesting part about this is twofold. One is, God, you're a horrible person. Two is, the Supreme Court is looking at this, and they're probably going to side with her, right? This is complete speculation on my part, obviously, because I don't know what the future holds. But based on what the Supreme Court has done so far, I would find it pretty likely they're going to support this lady and go down this path. I'm also curious to know what kind of worms this opens up across the board of saying what falls under a protected service or doesn't, and who I can or can't serve, right? And all these dynamics. I also generally, I can use the word hate people who use the religious dynamic as this beacon of good and nobility, and then they vote for Herschel Walker. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate all these, and hate's the right word. Case in point, there is so Congress passed the in essence the LGBTQ bill where you could protect marriage equality going forward and stuff like that, right? So Congress passed is going to move up now, right? And that was a pseudo bipartisan. They'll say bipartisan, but wouldn't really. There were people on both sides. Don't get me wrong, but the majority were obviously not on the right? And then there is right. So there's a representative. Her name is Vicky Harlitzer, who is speaking on the floor about the Marriage Equality Act, and she is just up in arms about this whole thing to the point where she starts crying. This person starts crying, and it's just ridiculous on so many levels, right? So much so that I'm gonna play it for you now so you can hear.
Wait.
Go ahead.
All right, play. I was gonna ask. Go on.
I'll tell you my priority. Protect religious liberty, protect people of faith, and protect Americans who believe in the true meaning of marriage. I hope and pray that my colleagues will find the courage to join me in opposing this misguided and this dangerous bill. I yield back.
Yeah, go to hell, lady.
Dangerous, Bill.
Go to hell, lady.
Because spreading the gay.
I mean, it's just the lunacy around this, like it's some kind of plague, right? Everything from, hey, we can't read this book. There was even a woman in New Jersey who went after the librarian. She went after a librarian in New Jersey because the librarian is responsible for putting certain books in the thing, and there's books in there that have gay undertones or gay storylines or whatever, right? And this woman went and mind you, they're tagged as for adults, by the way, right? And this woman got up in arms because her 16-year-old kid or whatever checked out one of these books, and so now there's indoctrination. The only indoctrination that I can see here is people taking this whole religious dynamic a little too far. And by little too far, I mean too far, period. Right? But it frustrates me when this woman has the audacity, and I use that word specifically, to cry. Go to hell. Right? Like the whole idea of because you believe in it, go there. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous on so many levels. How are you going to cry about the fact that two people love each other, want to be together, and they got nothing to do with you? Zero to do with you.
Yeah, but we're always concerned about others' well-being.
About who?
About others' well-being, right?
It's their well-being now? This is what it is? This is what she's fighting for?
It's
The
the
well-being
devil.
of other people?
Yeah, come on, you can't spread the gay.
Friggin' man, that frustrates me to no end when I hear things like that, right? All that stuff frustrates me, right? And then so I'll go on the tangent. I was listening to stuff and people were saying that I was listening to Levy actually. In essence, there were people, there were a couple women, I'm forgetting their names right now, so apologies on that, from the U.S. women's soccer team, the national team. And in a sense, they were talking about the current state of the World Cup and the fact that, you know, there's just general disappointment that the U.S. men's team and other teams haven't really spoken out more about LGBTQ rights, women's rights, et cetera, on this large platform that is the World Cup. Why? Like, I don't get it. You've chosen to go to the World Cup. You've chosen to sponsor the World Cup. You've chosen to do all these things at the World Cup. And your concern is that somebody didn't speak up at the World Cup, knowing full well what the World Cup represents in this country and what they stand for. You've done all the other stuff. You've given all the money. You've done everything else. And now you're on this platform to say what? That's going to do what? Like, if you wanted to truly make a stand, that's before going to the World. Like, there's no value in going to the World Cup and be like, oh, by the way, I'm going to wear this armband. Like, what is the value there? Enlighten me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you truly believe in this stuff, right?
Yeah,
then
it's a little more awareness, but the impact.
To whom? Who are you making aware?
Maybe somebody who didn't know.
Yeah, find me that one person, and I mean the one person. Like, it is something like that. Like, it's foolish to assume, right? Like, I don't the value of somebody coming out there. I'm saying wearing the armband. Or saying, hey, I wish women had more rights.
They wind up not being allowed to wear.
Meanwhile, why the F would they be doing it at the World Cup when here in the U.S. we're taking away women's rights? Right? There's no value there. Do it at home. If this is your big concern, then do it at home. Because if your home ain't right, then how you can do stuff outside, right? This is one of these glass stone situations, right? No, not glass or glass. What's it? Stone, glass house, not glass stone. Glass house situations, right? Like, this is that dynamic, right? We have all these things and atrocities in our country related to the specific LGBTQ and women. I just played one right there for you. And you're concerned about what's happening in the World Cup? And then I'll take the next tangent. We'll go into Brittney Greiner now.
Oh, I just wrote her name down. Look at number 6.
How did you just write her name down? How was that not on your list?
No, I forgot.
Did you forget that you forgot that she got released on Thursday?
I literally just wrote her name. Just kaboom, popped in the head.
By the way, Dominic is a year older now, so you can see his senility is kicking up. He's a year older as of 2 days upon the recording of this. But yeah, Brittney Greiner, how do you feel?
In general, I'm glad any person, I don't care that she's decently known in America.
Is she though? Hold up, is she though? Prior to this?
Like, like a C-list celebrity. It's like an actor who's like somebody, she's decently known. Yes, because I'll tell you why. Please, so, and it's not.
I did not know who she was part of this. That's just me.
Did not?
Did not know.
I know like 5.
I mean, if I saw her walking in the street, I'd be like, "You're a giant woman. I assume like, you're this."
But no,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
in college, she was known as like the best, and she was projected to be the best ever. And did
she go to UConn?
I don't
I
remember.
just
Yeah.
assume that's the only school I know in women's basketball. I'm pretty bad
No,
at women's
no. I think she
basketball.
went to like Baylor or something.
Okay, then I got even less for you there. Continue. Sorry.
So WNBA players, we may have talked about her situation on the show.
No, we did. We did.
I've frequently in the off season gone and played overseas because
Mhm.
the pay they get is, not that much in the
Here.
grand scheme of things as a professional athlete.
Mhm.
She every off season would play in Russia, right? And she went to Baylor. Look at that. See? She went to Russia and had a vape cartridge, empty, I guess, but a little residue in there in her suitcase, either foolishly or somehow mistakenly, meaning foolishly on purpose. She was arrested, 8 months ago, 9 months?
It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute.
And eventually sentenced to hard labor, not like, working supposedly 16 hours a day. Sentenced to 9 years, 8 years?
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the specifics around it, but yes.
And there's
Because
always been
they
talk
wanted
about
to
a
make an example of her.
potential prisoner swap for the guy in the Nicolas Cage movie. What's his?
He is
Doctor of Death or
the
something?
Lord of Death.
Lord of Death.
Something like that. Yeah. In essence, he's an
was-
arms dealer. He's one of the biggest arms dealers.
Arrested here in America, in a sting to sell millions of dollars worth of missiles to Colombian terrorists to attack America, right? This guy was sentenced to a couple of decades at least in prison, and he was traded for Brittney Greiner. And my understanding is there's still a U.S. Marine who is in prison in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did or is accused of doing.
They said that he was a spy.
So he was a spy. Okay. I don't know was.
They said that they'll
Did the
trade a
government-
spy for a spy, and the U.S. says we don't have a spy, a Russian spy, to give you. And they go, yes, you do. So that's part of the dilemma right now. It's been an ongoing dilemma, by the way. And they said, well,
Russia's we'll saying you do have one. We will release him when you give him ours.
Correct. You give us our spy, we'll give you your spy. And they go, he's not a spy. And they go, he's a spy. And this is the back and forth. And the other, I'm obviously making it very simplistic, by the way. But
yeah.
And then the other part of it was, okay, well, Brittney isn't even a military person. We're giving you a military person, so give us our military person, and Brittney will give you the Lord of Death or whatever he's called, Lord of War. That's what he's called. And then, or that was a movie. Either way, and they go, no, we do 1 for 1. There is no 1 for 2. 1 Russian is the same as 1 American, so you get 1 for 1. And so Brittney was the one who was released in the situation. Well, the other guy wasn't even up for release. So the other guy wasn't even part of the conversation, by the way. So it's not like they could have got I could have taken another guy, the military guy, but I chose Brittney. No, the guy was never up for it again because they want a spy for a spy in that situation. But people are now up in arms. People who have said zero about this person, by the way. And I'm forgetting his name, so apologies on my side. But people have said zero about him forever. But anybody who's opposed to the Brittney situation is going to then use him as the example, right? Of like, look what Biden's done or whatever else. And it's like, where were you? I haven't heard you say anything about this guy for quite the time. He's been in jail, but now you want to use him as your prop. Meanwhile, that dude's entire family has said that this was the best you can get to get anybody out.
Victor Bout.
One more time.
Not the Marine, but the Lord.
I was like, our Marine's name is Victor.
So, would this have happened if Brittney Greiner wasn't Brittney Greiner? And meaning,
no,
you didn't know who she was. She's not that famous, but you knew the case was because of her influence as a C-list person that there was a ton of media brought to attention. Because again, had it been Amit, you wouldn't have had this attention.
You want to see
does this happen if it's
Russia would have given me up for like somebody's finger? Like it wouldn't even matter. Like it's like, all right, I'm not even worth a full person. But no, if I was, this is the whole point. This goes back to what we said at the very start of the conversation, right? This is the Deion situation, right? I'm nobody. So if that was me, you're not seeing me ever again. You know what I'm saying?
So what are your thoughts? Are you okay with this?
Am I okay that in society I don't rank where a celebrity ranks?
With this situation, this actual situation.
You could get one person out in the situation. The one person that they were willing to trade was Brittney. You take Brittney. You move on. I'm now.
You're okay with who they traded him for? Because you think this guy's not going to do it again?
Oh, and without him, there have been no sales of arms. We're good because he's
no. But what I'm saying is, just walk it out. If you had to bet, do you think he's gonna potentially do something nefarious again.
Victor, whatever his face is?
Yes.
Yeah. Do I care?
And then if it leads to loss of life.
So again, while he was in jail, was loss of life contained?
No, but additional loss of life.
Now, how are you going to quantify that? That's an interesting one. He's given the weapons. He's not actually committing the crime. And according to our country and our constitution, you hold all the guns you want. The guns aren't the issue. We've established that in America.
No, but America does have, as lax as it is, a legal process for selling those.
For what?
This is illegal for
For
selling
what?
weapons.
You can buy a weapon at a fair.
It's a legal process.
And there's no background check. There's no whatever else. So it's legal, but we all know it's stupid. And I prefer to say stupidity trumps legality in many situations. That is blatantly stupid. And if you're saying that, hey, the guns aren't the issue, then what do I care about this guy? If you're gonna play that card, and now hold this guy,
I feel like that, but I'm asking you. So you don't mind the prisoner swap. So you'd be okay if it's Brittney or Joe Schmo or you, obviously, for
what are my options? They're both bad options. They're very, very bad options.
I mean, let her rot.
That's a bad option.
All right.
For
So
somebody,
listen, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying. So you're cool with
but if it was me,
America potentially unfair trade, if you will, just to protect its people. It's actually kind of ironically a noble American aspect for all of the
it's not noble.
They've done to its people. No, but it is noble. It is noble.
It's not noble. It has public view. Otherwise, it would not happen. It is not noble. Noble would be Amit and Dominic, and they free up.
There's a big backlash of this too.
No, but again, you had to do something because of the public pressure.
No, but the backlash against it.
No, but it doesn't matter. You got public pressure on freeing her, on freeing Brittney, and all this kind of stuff. Nobility would say, hey, I know you guys don't know about Amit and Dominic, but there are two guys from Florida who need to come out of jail, who need to get out of Russia, so we're going to trade a dude for them. That's nobility. That is somebody you don't know about. That is a regular citizen. This ain't nobility. This is public pressure. That's all this is. This ain't nobility, right? If she was a D-list or E-list celebrity, this would not be happening. Yeah. And I'm not knocking her status and the fact she got out. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that where we fall in rank. I can't give you nobility when there's something you had to do. It ain't noble when you have, bro.
You have to do it. There's public pressure. Look at our judicial system. There's public pressure for a lot of stuff. There's public pressure.
No. Our judicial system is different.
This Roe v. Wade. There's public pressure for a lot of things.
But one person within the administration can make this happen. One person cannot codify Roe v. Wade. One person cannot get the
is that how it works?
The marriage rights situation.
Is it literally Biden makes it happen? Or
yeah, well, in this situation, he gets to sign off on it. It's done. They go, hey, this is what they want to trade. Done. Do it. One person. So because it's one person, he can do this. The public pressure was on him to do this, and he did it. So the nobility game goes out the door because she's somebody famous. Again, I'm glad she's out, and I use that term loosely because it affects my life no way at all, right? So I'm not literally glad because I don't really have those kind of emotions. But if somebody got out of jail for something they didn't do, boom, that's a good thing, straight up.
I mean, they did do it. That's their law, but that we deem as excessive.
Sorry,
she did do it, and it is their law, but we deem it as excessive.
But it's also fairly obvious that she was used as a pawn in this situation, blatantly obvious, right? Because I don't believe that the law states like all that's like it. And again, I'm not going to get a Russian law. My point being, the nobility game, I don't buy. Like I don't buy that argument. Or that justification, I would say. But the other part that's there is, she's out, this guy's there. Now, are you saying that we're not going to track this dude's movements like ridiculously going forward? Yeah. We catch him again? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah. Right? Do I feel? I'll put it this way. Do you feel any less safe that he's out there now? Let's bring it selfishly internally. Do you feel any less safe that he's now in Russia? Did you feel any safer when he was in jail? Did you even know he was in jail prior to Brittney Greiner?
Prior to Brittney Greiner, no, I didn't know he was in jail.
So, do you feel any less safe now?
No, but that's not a valid question because if you catch a serial killer from Montana and put him in jail, I don't feel more or less safe. Like because probability wise, I'm not going to be affected by even this individual who's if there's a terrorist targeting Americans. Mm-hmm. There's over 350 million odd people in this country. Statistically, I'm safe. So
Okay.
I'm speaking generally for the masses, though. Like potentially someone could be harmed, but
Okay.
it's
And
about to be
but
there's about to be
that
some loud noise around here, so we gotta go quick.
because of
Stuff.
your belly? No,
What?
but all right.
Kyrie officially dropped by Nike as expected.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Again, no notability there, by the way, either. Are you claiming Nike did the right thing or a noble thing or whatever else? Or like what's your stance on the Kyrie dynamic there?
No, there's no nobility.
Okay, good. I'm glad you understand this now. All
Yeah.
right, we'll go down. We'll go to lack of nobility. One more thing, lack of nobility. You heard about BlackRock in Florida and ESG investing? You familiar with this?
No, I know BlackRock, of course, but
Okay,
no.
BlackRock's one of the biggest investment firms out there. They pretty much have money everywhere. Anyway, a bunch of states, Florida included, and a bunch of countries, a bunch of people invest in BlackRock. BlackRock and other investment firms started back in, I think it was like 16. It's been a minute.
Can start.
ESG ESG investing. In essence, sustainable investing, right? Investing in things that would
What is the
do.
acronym? Is that an acronym?
Yeah, it's like I forget. It is an acronym.
Energy or
No, it's not
environmentally
energy.
sustained
Yeah, something
growth?
like yeah. No, not growth. Something like that. I forgot. I literally heard it today, and I wrote it down too, and I apparently didn't save it. Um. So anyway, so it's that I've been doing it for a while. The returns are still the same, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the end of the day is BlackRock's entire goal is to get a return on your investment, return to the investors, make money for investors. Period. Right? As is anything. Right? So initially, when this came out, it was very like utopian because it was like, look, end of the day, if I go to my investor and I say, hey, I invested in company X versus company Y because company X doesn't use fossil fuels, but I lost you 5%. And had I gone company
No
wide, I made
bueno.
you 5%. And be like, all right, F off. Then don't go. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I've said before, people are innately selfish, and if you're costing me money, then let's not do this. So anyway, but because BlackRock of all companies came out and said this, and the CEO said this is part of his mandate, it actually started changing the way many companies operated in a positive way, saying, hey, we're going to change X, Y, and Z. We're going to do this and do that, right? So there is a positive benefit to the way that they operate their company, and then so on and so forth. Anyway, idiot DeSantis and a couple other, I forgot what other states did the same thing, pulled out. I think he pulled out 2 billion, like some stupid amount of money, primarily because he called this woke investing. And so his whole
By
idea of
pulled out,
going,
what do you mean? Pulled out from what?
we invest in BlackRock, and he goes, I'm not putting my money with you guys anymore because you're doing woke investing, and I don't want to woke invest. So I'm putting my money elsewhere. Right? So he pulled money out from BlackRock, right? And by the way, this is not a negligible. It's not like a couple $1 million. This is huge money. So this does have an impact. But that's the game there, right? Because he's anti-woke investment. And then I think one other state or a couple of states did the same thing. And I just find it that's grandstanding. Like it's stupid because the returns were still there. You were getting the ROI.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I'm looking about it. So it's basically harming Floridians because
Because you're losing the investment, the
that
return on the
was
money.
working.
Yes.
That was working.
Yes.
$1.43 billion worth of long-term
Yes.
securities.
So again, hence the idiot DeSantis, because like grandstanding. It's saying you're
And
doing this. I'm not going to go there anymore.
moves BlackRock as the manager of about $6 million worth of short-term overnight investments.
It's stupid. And again, he's not the only one because the stupidity is rampant. There's no shortage of idiots out there. There's no shortage of stupidity. There's no shortage of not only that, but all right, I'll call them the names. But more so than that, the whole idea of quote unquote woke investing as an investment firm, if you're getting the ROI, right, then your investment firm is doing right by you. That is their goal. And if there's a benefit and not only that, but Florida of all states, by the way, should be overly concerned with such things as the state sinks, right? And none of this stuff is like in the future. We're doing it now. So yeah, so your boy DeSantis is a
BlackRock
clown.
said, as a fiduciary, everything we do is with the sole goal of driving returns for our clients.
Yes. Well, no,
because like you mentioned, can you imagine the clients would be irate if they're not getting?
If you're not getting your return, I don't care about your wokeness if I'm not getting a return. But if you can give me both, why do I want to turn both down? Unless you are DeSantis and you need something else to prop up. because the dude is a clown. So that's my last
He
rant
said,
on that
I
one.
think it's undemocratic of major asset managers to use their power to influence societal outcomes. If Larry or his friends on Wall Street want to change the world, run for office, start a nonprofit, donate to the causes you care about. Using our cash, however, to fund BlackRock's social engineering project isn't something Florida ever signed up with.
Yeah. So again, your boy. That's all I got there. But he annoyed me. So I thought it was there. Right. One other random, well, one other random question. The People's Choice Awards happened like last week. Who are the people who vote in these People's Choice Awards? I
What
never
are the
understand the
People's
People's
Choice Awards?
Choice. That's it. Oh, well, hold up. It's another Foolish Award show, but more so than that, who are the people in this People's Choice Award show? Because I hear all the acceptance speeches and it's like, oh, you the people voted for us, whatever. I have never seen a ballot for this thing. Like, how does one vote for the People's Choice? Am I not part of the people? Like, how do you become the people of the People's Choice? And I feel like you watch all the award shows. How do you not know this?
It doesn't even sound familiar. Watch the award show. It's no way.
You watch the VMAs
No,
and all that kind of stuff? Hold up, is that the blender for your smoothie? Is that what's going on in the background? What's in the smoothie? Just go ahead. What's in the smoothie?
You never
It's fine.
know. Surprise.
You don't know what your wife's putting in the smoothie? Is there like a standard? Like that? Is there like a base that you always work with?
No.
Is it? I don't even know what's going on here. I'm perplexed by all of this. I don't know. I'm just perplexed by all of this. But yeah, so that happened.
Acai bowl. Who knows?
You can't be making. You blend acai for the acai bowl?
No doubt.
Oh, I know.
I blend dragon fruit. Make a dragon fruit smoothie or a dragon
that's right.
fruit
You're all
bowl.
by the dragon fruit life. Yeah. Last one here from me is well, two things. The Georgia elections, I'll just say this real quick. If it's right, everybody was like, oh, this is a positive outcome and blah, blah, blah. It's not. It's not because it was 51-49.
He won by the skin of his teeth, and it was all about hypocrisy because Herschel Walker stood for everything that the party rails against. And Sanders, and out there, they simply said, you know what? We don't care. We just can't have a Democrat win.
And
doesn't matter. Even if that Democrat is in line with what we believe, even if that Democrat, so like you're all about, like I imagine you're about to say, they can all go to hell.
Yeah. Well, here's the other part that bothers me too, by the way, right? There was this general separation of church and state. And I remember that there was in a Republican church, there was somebody railing against the Democrats and whatever else, right? And votes and stuff like that. Raphael Warnock is it a pastor or a preacher? I don't know the term. I could get the terminology incorrect, but he is, he's the head of the church, and he is, not in the Senate again, etc. I just don't see how any of the churches, right? I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I don't know why the church has any stake on my political on the political dynamic, especially because this whole country was built on the separation of church and state. Yet, all we apparently seem to be doing is going further and further back to the church. And not only that, just to get the votes, because Donald Trump ain't no church going dude, right? And if there's any hypocrisy ever proven, it was just that. Like, if you voted for him, Herschel Walker, anybody else, you can't claim goodness in church and whatever. And if you're going to cry like that lady over LGBTQ people, you are just horrible. Like, I don't understand it. And if you win 51-49, that's a loss, my dude. That means society is sad on so many levels. That's a lost society. That means that there are a significant number of people in society who I question. That's how sad that is to me. Like, that hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it did,
that hurt me.
We knew it that he even got to this point, right? It's
correct, right? Like, I mean, but it just hurt in so many ways. I'm like, how is that a thing? 51-49?
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
refresh
man.
people's memory, Herschel, evidence of several abortions.
Yeah.
Right? Which he preached against.
Also
the party preaches again. He wasn't involved in any of his kids' lives, and he railed against the Black community for absentee fathership, which has been proven because of mass incarceration. But anyway, he wasn't involved in his kids' lives. Are you behind in the match?
I don't know. He said he's
I
watching
think you're
my
watching.
face.
I think you're watching. Yes, I think you're watching. It's the highlight now, right?
Oh yeah, it was. I was watching it. I didn't see live. Sorry, I didn't see live. It was a highlight.
I'm watching
Yeah.
this fool's face.
I didn't see the highlight. So that was that was on me.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
It's
by
going
the way,
into
this
extra
match is
time.
happening Monday morning, apparently, according to Dominic.
Yeah, it's good. It's going in.
All right. Anyway, we taken up a bunch of your time.
Be better.
It's
Justice
one of the
over
lengthier
order.
ones.
Eat better.
All that good stuff. Dominic's an older man. We're gonna. How old are you now? 50 what?
43.
But you move like you're 65.
Nah, 53.
How the knees feeling? How are the fissures or whatever you had?
Oh, that's great, but the knee is not so good because I sat out, no pun intended, for 6 weeks of doing nothing, just laying in bed because of the fissures. So, yeah, struggling.
On that note, I will leave you be.
Eat better, justice over order.
Take it easy, everybody.
Cool.